Lotrin, this one was scary, but in a different way. It creeped me out, sort of, like in a hidden knowledge kind of thing. I both liked Orden, but I hated that he had to be in that situation. Was this one based off real stuff? Like Arlo's kinda real?
Unfortunately, yes. Orden was a real person. He and his wife bore the first Nictus, a descendant of which we'll be talking about for a couple of days. That descendant is very important.
So the politicians actually let the Vipers into Ephemera? Why would they do that? Everything I've heard or read about them, even from the archivists, is about how brutal and uncontrollable they are.
At first, I think it was merely a ploy to drastically lower the cost of labor, but over time the people in power began to believe their own lies meant to placate the normal populace, and then began to ignore any evidence because they didn't want to be ousted from their positions for appearing to be exclusionary towards vipers. It's actually happened a number of times among the other deep well races, but only this once among the jackal.
Why just the once? And what are the Ophidians? How come you never spoke about them before?
The archivist rule of too much too soon, Brumble. I didn't want to overload your mind with information that wouldn't seem important when you received it. Now, as to your first question, the jackals, being jackals, went to extreme measures to make sure that none of their number ever forgot what the vipers did to them. As to your second question, not all vipers want to be what they are. Gaunt shadows that can't even hold a shape of self. No, some of them were constantly choosing to be a little different, to be a little like the other races.
Oh, so there were always some Ophidians?
No, this time was different. Other races aren't like the jackals. The vipers of this particular generation that wanted to change saw how jackals acted and behaved, and what they expected of each other. Ophidians emerged from a clear understanding of that relationship jackals have with each other, and they bred heavily with their jackal companions, something seemingly only the Ophidians and jackals are capable of, this crossbreeding. Now they are a full race from the deep well. Not a major one, but a minor one, and that counts for something very seriously. But they're still heavily intermingled with the jackal in almost all that they do.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Lotrin? Do the jackals accept anyone? That is enough like them, I mean?
Yes and no, little worm. Not only do you have to act enough and think enough like them, but you must be tested. If you succeed, then yes. If you fail, then you are cast out. If you perform a task while cast out and you return, you might be tested again, but it will be a much harder test than the first one. I think we're done here. Go back to researching. There's still more work to be done tonight. And so little time to get it finished. Good night, everyone, and stay safe out there.